Okay, it's start of day 108. Well, start of the day on the trail on 108. I'm leaving the Race Brook campsite. I've got several tents. Get back to the trail. When I left the trail, it was rocky and just generally rough. A little more descending to do, and then I'm up and over Mount Everett, which I think will be the most challenging piece of the day. It looks steep, but since you've been along with me for a while, the maps sometimes lie. So hopefully it'll be easier than I anticipate. It's 8 o'clock, August 11th. I'm at mile marker 1514 point something in Massachusetts. So I really would like to get this climb out of the way before the heat of the day. So this is the big one. There are a couple other climbs too. Along the way there always are. And then we kind of wind down and hike a bunch of flat. So I don't have a real good ending point for today. So I'm going to have to play it by ear. Now there's a shelter in like 5 miles. Which is way too short. There's a stream water source just before Route 7, which goes into Great Barrington, which a lot of people are going into Great Barrington. I don't know. I couldn't tell from the picture in my far out guide whether there are trees there that I can hammock. If so, that's what I'm going to do. I don't really need a resupply. I've got 4 days of food. So I'd like to press on the end of the day, and tomorrow don't have a whole lot of elevation gain, so rather tame, and then it picks up again. Okay, is this the trail? No, the trail's up there. Okay, well, I will take you along with me, and Everett, I'm going to tell you about your mountain here. You might have to do some revisions when I'm done with this mountain. So anyway, day 108, gray sun taking you along with me. I'm hoping this day is not as exhausting as yesterday. I'm pretty much at the top of Mount Everett, I think. Can't quite tell. Maybe a few more feet of climbing to do. It was hard work. The first 2/3 were, I don't know, 50-60%. I mean, 50-degree angle, 60-degree angle, climbing up rocks. Some of the places you'll see in some of my photos had steps screwed to the rocks. Okay, I guess up here is the summit. Because I have a marker. The last 10th or 5th here is kind of leveled out, and it's just rocky, as you can see. But even though we're only like 2,600 feet up here, the vegetation is very pretty much like it was on mount race. I got like this. $26.02. So there's no view here, but as we hike on, there's a clearing going down a little bit that supposedly has a really good view. As far as how I'm doing, this went a whole lot better than Mount Cube, but the reason is more than likely because I did it first thing in the morning. Whoa, I don't think this is the trail. Because I did it first thing in the morning and had fresher legs. Yesterday I did Mount Cube at the end of the day, and it was my third significant climb, and it just was a booger. My ankles and legs were tired, and just had a hard time with it. I think it was a little bit more, it wasn't more vertical mount race, but you're walking on these rock ledges, and right off to your right, about 1.5 feet or 2 feet, is a 20, 50 foot, 60, 70 foot drop. And being tired, it's harder to keep your balance, and so it was just mentally wearing. It seemed like forever to get to the top of Mount Race once I got close. Even though the grade wasn't that hard, it was kind of, I think the top was more rugged here than Mount Everett. So at this point, I would give thumbs up to Mount Everett over Mount Cube. I'm actually glad that I'm not doing both in the same day. That'd be a pretty wicked combination. After doing Mount Cube and coming down the other side, then coming up this, I'm hoping that the down on this is better. It appears to be more gently graded. The down on Mount Cube was pretty brutal too. It had places where I had to turn around and down climb with my hands and feet, and this so far isn't asking me to do that. I have this theory about things. Oh, there's a viewpoint up here. Hold on, I'll get you a view. I hiked a little side trail for maybe 1/10 of a mile so I could see Boulder Pond. The trail goes right by it, but doesn't go close enough to view it. So I just wanted to see what I'm going past. Lots of lily pads even out there. You can see them blooming. Really pretty. It's up here at like 1,800 feet. It's crazy. Some of these, New Jersey had some of these lakes too in New York that are just way up high. I think it's part of glacier activity, but I'm no expert. I've talked in previous videos about, I don't know, this thing I'm feeling like towhees are my guardian angel. And I just heard a towhee a little bit ago. Funny story about 3 nights ago when I had a really hard day in Connecticut and just basically limped into camp on fumes. Maybe a little bit like last night. Maybe worse. I don't know. I was setting up my hammock, and in the brush, like, I don't know, 10, 15 feet away from me was a towhee. It's just kind of a neat reminder. I don't know that towhees are necessarily angels, but I think the Lord uses it to just jog my mind that He's watching out for me. He's giving me grace for the trip. I was pretty much dreading the climb up Mount Everett because it looked cut and picking steep on the map, and it was steep. Some ways it was kind of a challenge. I took a lot of breaks going up. I'd make 100 steps and stop and rest for 30-40 seconds just to keep my heart rate kind of in check. But then it gentled out, and the backside here is nicer. So again, I give an easier grade to Mount Everett. One of the young ladies that was at the hostel with me 2 nights ago, she was planning to do all this and Mount Everett and go to the next shelter, which is 3 or 4 miles ahead. It just shows you what youth and vigor will do. When I was in the hostel, I asked her how much her pack weighed. She said, "I don't know. I haven't weighed it. I don't want to know." She said, "Here, lift it." I lifted her pack. I thought my pack was heavy. Oh, it was a solid 40 pounds, if not 45. I don't know. It was heavy. And she put that thing on and did all 3 of those climbs in one day. She left the hostel at 7 a.m. Half an hour ahead of me. I never saw her again. That's partly because I'm slow and took a lot of breaks yesterday. Breaks are good. So the other theory, the thing I've been thinking about here as I'm walking along the trail, is that Mount Everett is pretty accessible from a state park down here. And generally, the trail is gentler and more well-maintained when it's close to an area where there's a lot of public access. Yesterday on Sunday, so today's Monday, yesterday on Sunday, the people were out in droves. I saw lots and lots of people. Lots of day hikers. Mainly saw them on Bear Mountain, which is the highest point in Connecticut. Everybody wanted to get their high point in. And but this trail will kind of show that too, although it's not a piece of cake. It's way better than the backside of Bear Mountain. Now, Bear Mountain has a loop that people were doing, and they would go up what I went down and go down what I went up, which I think would be easier. The down was pretty technical, so it would be technical going up, and generally it's easier to go up technically than go down. So anyway, those are the couple things on my mind for my Grayson's musings for today. I need to, at the next shelter, I just need to camel up on water again, even though I'm not too low. It's good to get Mount Everett out of the way before the heat of the day. I think it's supposed to get up in the mid-80s today, which is starting to get hot. And so, boy, climbing that mountain in the middle of the day would have been really gnarly. One of the other hikers at the campsite last night said he was going into town today, and I heard him ordering a shuttle for 11 o'clock, and he was still packing up. Well, he was still in camp when I left. I have a notion that instead of climbing Mount Everett, that you could go down the trail that went to our campsite another mile, get to a road, and that he got his shuttle there. He was going to have the shuttle driver shuttle him into town. He has said the Mount Race had kicked his butt as well. I asked him his age. He said he was 61. And I asked him what is he a through hiker, what he said. He's a lasher, a long section hiker. And he was seeing if he can make it to Katahdin. He's done other long sections. He's just out here as long as he can keep doing it, which is kind of, my goal would be to do the whole thing. But there are days when you just wonder whether you can do it. I've been thinking about the White Mountains, and they're harder than what I've been doing here these last couple of days. And I'm going to try to get my head together with Creek when we get back together on trail, and maybe we will slack pack the whites if we can, or a lot of them, because not having a 25-30 pound pack on your back would be quite a benefit in hard terrain like that. Either your pack messes with your balance when you're doing some of these technical things. It's harder on your legs, and so would have never considered that in the beginning because I thought it's kind of cheating. But anybody who walks this whole trail, I don't care if they carry a pack or not, they have done something. This is a very physical experience, and there are times it demands more of you than you think you have to give, and yet when you have to, you can. Last night I had to. A couple nights ago I had to. You have to get the water. Well, you don't have to get the water to camp, but you have to get the water if you're low on water, and so you got to do what you got to do, and you find out you can do way more than you thought. I was concerned. I didn't sleep tremendously well last night. It's partly my fault, but it's partly I think I just overexerted. But part that was my fault is that I was just so beat. I didn't walk up the hill 20 yards and put my food in the bear box. And so I'd wake up in the night, have to go to the bathroom, and then I'd hear noises. Sometimes it was my tent mate runching around or whatever. And then I looked at the guide, and it showed that they had a bear symbol near that campsite, which means that it's known for bear activity. And I kept thinking, oh no, I got a bear coming. So I kind of freaked my own self out. Reference for, I just about got up in the night and took my food up to the bear box, but I didn't half know where it was. So it wasn't that far away. Should have done it before I went to bed. Would have given me some peace of mind. But then you have to walk up to it and make a lot of noise to get your food out in the morning too. So 6 of one, half dozen the other. My watch gave me, what did it give me? 649 or something sleep score, which is on the lower end of the scale what I get, but it's good enough. I'm feeling pretty good today, actually. I've been adding caffeine drops to my water in the beginning of the day. Try to give me a little pick-me-up because I'm not a coffee guy. When it's hot or warm in the morning like this, I'm not sure I'd really want a hot cup of coffee. So it seems to be helping. Anyway, that's enough rambling. I'll see you down the trail. Stopped here for a long lunch break in the shade. It's 88 degrees, and now I have a long down climb to the valley. It looks like I still don't know what my plans are for the evening, but we're just going to take it. I'm going to go 4.2 to the next road crossing and see what happens. So it's a pretty day. I'm kind of assuming that, like the rest of Massachusetts, that this down climb is going to be a little gnarly and rocky. So I got to get at it. Okay, I've been up over Mount Everett, and then there was a long ridge walk, and then a rather gnarly 1,300 foot descent. Fairly technical. I'm now down and we're walking in an open field. there was a water cache back at a dirt road, which I just filled up one bottle because I already had one full. Trying to decide what to do for the night because I really need water. There was a supposed water source up here in about a mile or two, but the last comment somebody said it was dry. So dry water source is no good. The next water is about 8 miles on trail until you get water. So got decisions to make. Somebody wrote comments a couple days ago. There's a water cache at a road coming up. It's possible I could carry water to a campsite and have enough to, and have 2 liters to go out with in the morning for maybe another 5-6 miles if the train isn't too hard. So that's one option. The other option is to hitch or get a shuttle into town and stay at the community center. The only deal is I would have to reverse that in the morning. So, and I don't know if they have hammock space, places I could put up a hammock. They have tenting. They have a large open grassy area. And I would prefer not to sleep on the ground if I don't have to. So we got some things to figure out, and next little while we'll determine what I'm going to do. Would really like to get to Route 7 or somewhere close to there to make it a 10-mile day. Pull up at this other water source. I think that would have been like an 8-mile day, 8 or 9. That's close enough. These are bog boards, but it's dry enough that there's no bog underneath them. I think it's been an unusually dry year here in Connecticut, Massachusetts. They're calling for some rain in 2 or 3 days. Does not help me out today. So, just one of the many quandaries that you have. On trail, got to have water. So, worst comes to worst, I might just walk up to somebody's house and along the road and beg them for some water, because water is water. Water for most people is free, so they don't mind giving it to you. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at, and I'm showing you some new scenery. Massachusetts has been, I thought Connecticut was rugged. Massachusetts is more rugged. So, and now this isn't rugged, but the first 5.5 miles of the day were pretty rugged. So we have to cross the Housatonic River again, which we were walking beside in Connecticut. That's coming up here at 3.5, well no, not, it's probably 5 miles. And then we turn back up into the mountains. So let me give you a wrap up of day 108. Kind of an interesting deal. Decided because of no good place to stop with water and how far water was apart, I decided to figure a way to get in here to the community center in Great Barrington, Massachusetts, and they allow hikers to set up in their kind of a field, grassy area back here. And so I was planning on hitching in, and I came to a road crossing just shortly before the one I was going to try to hitch at, and there's this family that's hiking the AT, mother and father and 2 boys, and they carry 2 vehicles. So they drive a vehicle north, and then they hike south back to their other vehicle, and yada yada. And so I got to talking with them, and they said, well, we'll take you into Great Barrington. So they delivered me completely here to the community center, which is awesome. And then when I also looked, when I looked up the community center, they serve a free meal to the community and to hikers on Monday night. So I got had a good hot meal. Met a bunch of other thru hikers that are here, and setting up my hammock in a pavilion. I'll turn around and show it to you here in a little bit. And then I'm going to fill my water up in the morning and try to hitch back to trail or get a shuttle back to trail. And not sure what exactly the water scenario is. Really pretty gnarly here for the next little bit. So should be like 6.5 miles to water to a shelter, so 2 liters should carry me, and I'll drink a good bit before I leave. And then I'm not sure what is after that. So the Lord takes care of your needs, though. I got a free meal. I got somebody to deliver it, and then then after the meal, I came out here to set up, and these people have been doing trail magic on the trail, and this is the last time they did it this year. They came by and said, "Is there anything you want?" And they had a cooler with ice cold drinks in it, and I got a nice cold Gatorade, which was really hits the spot. I've been so blasted thirsty all day today drinking, and cold really tastes a lot better than warm. And so it's been really cool. God really provided, and you know, I'm hanging out with people that we'd never meet in real life. I mean, in normal life, because our paths would be totally different, and you know, their perspectives are different than mine. But there's, you know, there is goodness and gentleness in a lot of people, and they've shown me real kindness and acceptance, and it's just really heartwarming. So yeah, it's been a good day. I did the Mount Everett climb. I got my 10 miles in for the day. I didn't quite, but I'm going to count it as 10 because I skipped a little bit, and I had water, and everything's working out. So I'm signing off on day 108.